Welcome back, everyone. Let's talk about how to find brilliant moves in chess. This is the second video I made about it, and it's amazing. It's a great feeling when you see on the board that you made a brilliancy. Okay, so let's get into some examples. First, this is white to move, and the position is begging them to grab some space in the center. For example, putting a pawn here on e4. Now I have to move my knight. They don't do that. They go rook e1. They also open up the game with a very passive opening. So, okay, not my fault. Now, all I want to do is disrupt the pawn chain they have. If I can get rid of these, at least two of these pawns, then I will have an advantage. So they have light square pawns. I want to trade my light square bishop. They go knight to b1, bishop to c6, preparing the bishop for the sacrifice. And now e4, I have to move my knight before I make that sacrifice. So the queen has to move, and then I sack my bishop. If you are wondering, why don't you sacrifice the knight? First, the bishop still has some obstacles here in this position. It wouldn't have a lot of space to travel. So that is why. And here with the knight, I have a lot more flexibility on the board, and I can jump in at any time. So, okay, so that's the whole objective of sacrificing this bishop. Now they go with g3, putting pressure on my knight, so I go back. And as the game continues, this is completely winning for black. Now I have my outpost. I keep pushing pawns. I can also ignore what is happening on this side of the board because they don't have much. King goes to a1, castle. If we take here this pawn in the center, and then queen to c1, b3. I keep pushing pawns, and they resign at this point. They freak out. Probably they don't have a lot of moves. They might have to move the queen somewhere, and this is a check. Oh no, that will be also a blunder. I have this fork, so they don't have a lot of squares available for the queen. Okay, this is another example with very similar ideas. So white is going to play queen c2. This is a blunder. They should have kept an eye on the bishop. So this was important, to keep an eye on the bishop. So once they remove this defender, now we can also get rid of these two pawns. That's what we want. Or get rid of as many pawns as possible. Now, I'm gonna take with the knight. Knight takes on e3, they take back. And now I can sack my bishop. This was the brilliant move in the position, as they're gonna have to take back. If they take back, now this is going to be checkmate. So they move the rook. They move the rook. The king doesn't have a lot of places to go, so I take with check. And yeah, this is completely lost for white anyway. But yeah, just always look for this type of disruption in the three defenders of the king, the three pawns that are defending the king. In this position, and always look for this type of sacrifices where you go for a pawn chain disruption. So the queen is going to move to g3. This is black to play, and they have beautiful three pawns. But now we have a sacrifice that wins the game. Feel free to pause the video on this one. Okay, so we can sack the rook. We sack the rook, and they can never take back with the queen because these two pieces get forked. Okay, that didn't happen in the game. They understood that, and they take back with the pawn. Perfect. Now I can give a check and pretty much win my material now. I think the only move that would have continued or hold onto the game would have been this, probably. And then the game keeps going, right? I can bring my queen with threats of taking this pawn, even forking these two pieces, but that doesn't happen. That didn't even happen in the game. King goes to d2, and now, yeah, we have this fork of the two pieces, and just completely lost for white. This was one of the greatest brilliancies I have ever found. So first, they're offering me a trade of rooks. Perfect. Let's trade just rooks. And what you always want to do is promote, right? If you can promote your pawn, then you will be completely winning. If you look at material only, then yeah, it's completely lost because it's 4 versus 2, and we can say this is about equal. Okay, so I push my pawn to c3, they move the king trying to put pressure here, maybe. Now I sack my bishop. I sack my bishop. If they take, I don't care. They are not in time to stop my pawn. So they don't do that. They don't take the pawn, the bishop, sorry. Instead, they go with knight to d4. Excellent move. Now I keep pushing my pawn. Best move in the position is just to stop the promotion of the pawn, right? Simple. But with little time, they didn't see that. They just took my pawn here. I take back, and now I am gonna play for a win. I am up material. So a few moves later, not a few moves later, it's like 40 moves later, the game, he actually ran out of time. But here I got the queen, and this is completely winning for black. This is a short, sweet example. This is pure tactics. It's nothing else here. So okay, queen goes to g4, knight goes to b4, preparing for this fork of the two pieces. And now they blunder with knight takes on d4. Feel free to pause the video on this one. It's only tactics, it's not much science here. Okay, now I see that I can take this knight. Okay, this is gonna be a brilliancy, as I'm gonna put it here as an emoji. How do I do this? 1 second here. Okay, here, this is a brilliancy. Now, once they take back with the queen, they shouldn't, but okay. I am forking the 3 pieces, recovering back my material, the king moves, and yeah, this is winning. Alright, always look for a way to restrict your opponent's pieces. It doesn't matter if it's a brilliancy, it's always a good idea. Okay, so in this one is white to move, and I can take this knight. Okay, and they found a brilliancy, which I didn't expect. They have this pin, right? If anytime I move my knight, it's going to open up this discover attack. Now they move my knight, this knight, sacking, almost like sacking one piece, because now I can go with this check, right? I can go with this check, and it comes with tempo. They're gonna have to move, but anything else was completely lost, because let's say if I move here the knight, they move here the knight, sorry, I can go with this discover attack, and let's say they move here, they just lose the queen. So that's why this was a brilliancy. Knight to b6. Alright, so I just take. The game continues. King to f8. And now I found this crazy move, which is not even that crazy, but is knight to d7, giving a check. And if they take, now I'm gonna give here, I'm gonna give a check here. It comes with tempo, and I win the rook. Alright, so that didn't even happen. The game continued. It was a crazy game. But yeah, this is, just look at the opponent's pieces. This is a stock. These 3 pieces are going nowhere anytime soon. So this is completely lost for black with perfect play, right? I consider myself an excellent defender. So you can always find brilliancies in the defense, not only in the attack, right? These are also very, very satisfying. So they go with king h6, and this looks like it's completely lost for black anyway. They have 2 passed pawns and a bishop versus just the knight. But yeah, you can still hold on to these positions. So knight goes to e6, bishop to b6, king to b7, okay, g5. And g5 is a slight mistake, an inaccuracy, because I can just sack the knight. Once they take, they have nothing. This is a draw. This is a draw. And what I'm gonna do is just repeat moves, repeat between these 2 moves in the position, and yeah, they can never capitalize. So this is a dead draw, and they can never make me get out of this position. Yeah, the game ended in a draw. I always insist on the alignment of the pieces, because this is how you're gonna find a lot of brilliancies, or just the best move, right? Here in this case, queen goes to d2, bishop to g3, with the idea of stopping these pawns. Although that is not necessarily the best move, but it's going to lead us to the best, to a brilliancy here. Knight goes to e2. Okay, I have to defend my bishop, and they move f4. It looks like my bishop is trapped, isn't it? But with the right combination, I figured that I can just take first. I'm gonna remove the attacker of my bishop. Okay, that was kind of simple to see. Bishop takes on e2, and see if I can find a way to save my bishop. Queen takes on e2, And this is the brilliancy. So here, feel free to pause the video on this one and find the brilliancy that not only saves this bishop, but also saves the game and wins the game. Okay, so the move, you're looking for the alignment of the pieces. Here, this bishop is aligned to the king. And if we can make the queen to be here, then now I hope you see the move. So I can take here this rook. If they take, yeah, the queen is trapped. They cannot move. Okay, that didn't happen in the game. They go, oh, okay. So they move the queen somewhere and I just take. Oh yeah, now I am up the exchange. I have 5 pieces actually versus 4. And it's completely winning for black.